Good evening, folks. I'd like to call the regular meeting of Council June the 8th to order. We're just 5 minutes past 7. If I got to get in the right agenda here. I have just double checking. No, we're good. Looking for approval of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Public participation. We have member of the public. If you have anything to say to council, now's the time. Yours is coming up. Moving on, just a couple of things, folks. Reminder that the Colwood Fire Department's annual open house is Sunday from 10 till 2 this weekend. So hope to see you all there. It's a wonderful time, as many of us can attest to. Also, a reminder on the IACTI picnic that happens June the 19th, Friday, Machosen Community House, 4430 Happy Valley Road. That one also isn't open to the public, folks, so we'd like to see people arrive there and check that out. Information is online. I think that's it. We got lots of things coming up this month with graduations and all that sort of thing. So it's keeping us all busy. Looking for adoption of minutes, and I understand we have some corrections to be made on the special meeting of the 25th of, the regular meeting of the 25th and the special meeting of June 1st. Councillor Day.
Thank you. Just on page 10 of the minutes, where Councillor Logan was addressing the concerns from the residents about driveway access onto Painter Road, and noted the developer, and just a small wording change for clarity, provided revised drawings to the committee. So the proponent did present to the Planning and Land Use Committee twice in response to citizen concerns. And then, because there was some question on that as to whether or not we were looking at a different plan, so for clarity. And then on page 11, fourth paragraph down, Councillor Nault asked if the zoning is in place for the 425 homes and 5 parks. Director of Planning noted that zoning in Royal Bay is in the same state as when it was adopted 10 years ago, and provides for densities that are identical to the 2014 OCP amendment. The details and layout of the neighborhood differ between the zoning and the OCP area. So I was seeking clarification on that because I was just having a hard time understanding that particular portion of the meeting. So I would move that we adopt the minutes with those amendments.
So that'll be the regular meeting of May the 25th, special meeting of May the 25th, and special meeting of June 1st.
Second, Worship.
Just one item on, sorry, I thought we were working just one by one. On the June 1st special meeting of council, there's one other change.
One other change? Okay.
Yep. And right after the meeting is called to order, adding this paragraph, the Chief Administrative Officer advised Council that following the receipt of advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose at the in-camera meeting, while still in the open meeting, a discussion is needed regarding a staff request for direction to proceed with a text amendment to the city's land use bylaw. And I would just move that one for clarity.
Okay.
Second.
So on those sets of minutes then, we have mover and seconder. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Looking for receipt of number sets of minutes, economic development and innovation on March 26th, transportation public infrastructure on May the 4th, cycling advisory on May 4th, and planning and land use May 5th.
Move receipt.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Presentations. Mr. LaCroix from the Executive Director of Vancouver Island Operations for Great Canadian Gaming Corporation. And you're here to talk to us about the View Royal Casino.
council and staff. It's a privilege to be here this evening. Like the mayor said, my name is Andy LaCroix. I'm the executive director for Great Canadian Gaming Corporation for our two island properties. I'm 4 months removed from the mainland and happy to be part of the West Shore community and the West Shore business community. It's an unkept secret. That won't be secret for long. Great job, great area. What we're trying to do here this evening is just basically tell you a bit about ourselves. The municipality receives a share of the gaming revenue that the province puts out quarterly. So just to kind of give you a lay of the land, what we do, who we are, what we have at the site, and stuff like that. So and we'll have some questions at the end of it. So pretty straightforward. Try to feel comfortable on this where I can look at you and see the screen. It's a bit of a challenge, but Great Canadian Gaming Corporation runs the View Royal Casino. We proudly have 4,000 employees, and our head office is based in British Columbia, in Richmond, right now. We operate in many jurisdictions across Canada and one in the States. Not only are we in BC here, but we operate in Ontario, Nova Scotia. We recently purchased a property in New Brunswick, and we operate gaming centers in the Washington State. So pretty wide scope of jurisdictions that we operate in. The last refresh we had at the existing property was in 2009, was when we added our parkade. I'm sure you all know we were pretty limited for parking space there, and we did some interior design. Whoop. It went too far, sorry. Went ahead of me. Just for everybody's information, we are a very highly regulated industry. We have, I'll call it at the top of the pile, GPEP, the Gaming Policy Enforcement Branch, and they're the regulator for all gaming in British Columbia. Next to them, or just under them, we have the BCLC, British Columbia Lottery Corporation, and they're the provincial crown corporation that manages gaming sites throughout the province. And then they decide on who the gaming operator is for different jurisdictions. So we kind of report up the ladder that way. They set all our policies and procedures as well. Right, the big slide, the big table. Just so everybody's aware, there's basically 4 different components to how the gaming revenue gets out to the bigger public. Firstly, there's the 2/3 of all gaming revenue that goes through these facilities is retained by BCLC, and they manage it on behalf of the province to invest in healthcare, education, and social services. Sorry. In the case of View Royal Casino, part of the proceeds that we have, and this is a very unique setup, it goes out to 7 different municipalities, of which Colwood is one of them. That's the only jurisdiction in the province, and I think pretty well in the country, where that revenue is shared. So kudos for you for sharing that. You come across as leaders in that. Just for point of interest, Colwood has received $4.5 million since we opened the site in 2001, of that total of $51 million that the 7 municipalities share. A third point of interest is how the funds are spent. Is some of the money that goes into the provincial coffers. There's a community gaming grant. Last year there was 5,000 charities that partake in that gaming grant, and they shared in $135 million. So just to give you some scope on that, for Greater Victoria, there was what's the number? 358 charities that partake in that gaming grant. And fourthly, it's what we do, the direct support we do. It's hard to believe, but people leave money in slot machines, so we don't get to keep it. We have to put it in a fund and distribute it. Not me. I never had that problem. But what we do is we cash it out. We put it in a reserve, and every quarter we pay it out, as well to different charities in the group in the area, as well as we do a lot of silent auction items. You know, Royal Roads, right in our backyard here. They're celebrating their 75th anniversary in the fall, and we'll be a major sponsor for that. So we really try to, touch as much as we can in the community and how we think it'll best serve those members of the community. Remember to put this up. We have an internal program that supports volunteerism. What we do is, if we have any colleagues that are volunteering for any group, they'll submit an application to ourselves to say what they do and what the benefit that they serve that charity with. And if they qualify, we'll give that charity $500 in our colleague's name. So kind of given on the hourly and given financially to help support as well. As well as we do, as I said, we do a lot of different things in the community with silent auction items. We do Wounded Warriors. We help support that program and a number of other things. And when it totals up, the company itself gives up upwards of $2 million back to the communities that we service. Just some of the charities that we supported in the last little while. Big Brothers and Big Sisters is another one. Bridges for Women, Wounded Warriors. As I mentioned, the Railroads University function. I know I only have 5 minutes. Are you counting, Marcy? Yeah. And just who we are, give you some scope of the business itself. We have over 180 employees. We have 37 different positions, so it's not just a whole bunch of Andys. It's all different bunch of roles out there. 51% of our staff have been with us for 10 years. And surprisingly enough, 28 different languages and dialects spoken for the employees we have. As far as the mix, it's 52% men, 48% women. What was it? And the average age is 41 years. So what we find too, and we're very proud of this, is that's when people are raising families or living in this community. So that's why we really look at the community leaders and giving back to our community to help them, because that's where they live. Kind of the economic impact that we have ourselves. Last year in 2014, we put $8.2 million in goods and services purchased through 90 lower, island-based vendors. So we're not always bringing people from the mainland or bringing people from outside. We're trying to deal as much as we can with local vendors. Capital investments, as I said, the site and the parkade that we did were upwards of $40 million. And our annual property tax, and I know you can't do anything about that, is $302,000. So, and lastly, we're big proponents, as the industry is as a whole, of responsible gaming. We realize that there's a portion of the community that's at risk. All our staff is schooled in responsible gaming and looking what to look for should somebody be in distress, and how to handle it. There's brochures and information throughout the site and even on the slot machines, as well as a Game Sense booth and a Game Sense advisor that's on site. So should people need help or we find that people are in distress, they can certainly reach out automatically and do that. And even for some people that have required counseling, they do it off-site. Or if they want to be self-excluded, we take them right away, sign them up and exclude them so to get them out of harm's way. So that's my 5-minute blurb. Thank you for your time and patience.
Thank you, Andy.
Any questions?
I was going to say, Council have any questions? Councillor Day?
You mentioned your last upgrade was with the parking lot.
Yes.
And I'm just wondering, do you have plans for more upgrades?
Yeah, we're working with our partners, BCLC now, to look at, we think there's a big opportunity for food and beverage. Recently we added alcohol to the gaming floor and as well as the patio. So we're just in the process now of opening up the patio to kind of expand our footprint for food and beverage. And, it needs some refreshing, so that's what we're working on right now, is kind of refreshing it up. And our goal is to make this the #1 destination for entertainment and gaming on Vancouver Island. So let's do that.
Anyone else? Thank you, Andy.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Pleasure meeting you.
Next on our agenda, folks, is an email correspondence from the Premier in regards to giving us an opportunity to have any meeting requests at our 2015 UBCM convention. Just wondering if there is anything that comes to mind. The opportunity to submit opens on Monday, June 15th. And those spots go quickly. If you can think of anything that... Councillor Chung?
Yeah, well, I was just thinking that we have some great transportation priorities. So I was wondering if council as a whole would maybe want to address the Premier about Galloping Goose connectivity, like the overpass. That's something that's not strictly Colwood by itself.
It's all open. We can certainly either by this meeting and or through TPI, we can look to sending that request in. Chair of TPI. So let's look at transportation. Anything else?
Your Worship, I'm not sure if we wanted to, along with V Royal and the City of Langford, meet with the AG regarding policing issues and strength as a result of what's happening next door. Just have a coordinated effort.
I know the Mayor of Langford and Machosen, V Royal, and myself did meet with the Minister earlier, and there is some things in the works that way, but I'm not sure what repeating would do, but we can certainly inquire. Okay. Anything else? All right, well then I'll take those two under and we'll see what we can get to put together. All right, thanks. Finance and Admin Committee 7.1.1 draft statement of our SOFI report for the end of 2014. Is that going to be Councillor Trace, or are we moving to finance staff?
If you would prefer, Madam Mayor, this has come directly to Council. It hasn't gone to the FACT Committee, and this was in the interests of time. And it is a document that Council should review and approve this evening. I'm looking for a motion for that. I believe that staff may wish to include this in the annual report, so it would be a good idea if you could approve this evening. But if you have any questions about some of the items, I'd be more than happy to give it a shot to answer your questions.
Okay, I'll open it then to Council. Was there any questions on any of the segments within the report? Councillor Day?
Thanks. I had a couple of my usual stumbling block is what the heck is a sinking fund, which I think Wikipedia helped me out with. But I think I do that every year. I go, what does that really mean? But looking through the schedules, it looked very good. The only question that I had was in regards to the $150,000 that was paid out to District of Saanich, and I was just wondering what that related to.
Sure, thank you. That pertains to the annual fire dispatch fee that we pay Saanich, just over $80,000. We also had been making payments for the crime unit when it was still in existence, and that was about $50,000, and there was some other smaller amounts there. So that's what makes up the $150,000 and change.
If there are no further questions, I would be prepared to move that.
No, no.
Oh, okay.
Councillor Martin.
Thank you. Section 6. Schedule of employee reimbursements and expenses. Could you please explain under James Mueller, the $21,000.
Yes, I'd be pleased to.
Thank you.
Mr. Moeller, when he was hired, council entered into an agreement to pay for his moving expenses
Okay, so that's what.
from Saskatchewan, and the bulk of that was about $15,000, and then there's a number of other conferences and courses that he went to.
So was that within what we were expecting?
Yes, that was
Okay.
as per the approved contract.
Great, thank you.
Any others? Then you can carry on, Councillor Day.
I was just going to move that council approve the statement of financial information as presented tonight.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. 7.1.2, report Director of Admin on the 2015 Christmas closure proposal.
Thank you. So this is our annual submission to council to seek approval for closing the city offices for a Christmas closure. This one will be 11 days if it's approved by council. That includes weekends and statutory holidays. And this is about the 16th or 17th year that we've been doing this. There's no effect on our emergency services or the ability of our Public Works Department to respond to emergencies. The closure, if it's permitted, would start on Thursday, December the 24th, which falls under city policy that we would close the day before Christmas. And it would go through to Sunday, January the 3rd, with all our offices opening again on Monday, January the 4th. The closure has our inside staff using 28 hours and our outside staff using 32 hours of their vacation or bank time, which is always good to try to get off the books. And staff are authorized to work during a Christmas closure if they have their supervisor's approval, and they have to follow the working alone procedures that have been established by Occupational Health and Safety anytime they're working by themselves. So we're just asking council if they are open to approving a Christmas closure again for 2015.
Council? Comments, questions, recommendation?
I think I was looking at this carefully because I think it's important that we have a thrifty mindset as council. Of these days, there's only actually 3 days when we could be operational, and they're the 29th, 30th, and 31st. And I think it's highly unlikely that those are going to be terribly productive days. And also, as the Director of Administration mentioned, it does allow us to get people to use up their banked overtime hours or vacation time hours. So I think all in all, it's a good policy for the city to give our hardworking employees a good break, and also make the time that they are here the most productive it can be.
Move the recommendation. Your worship.
Second.
And before we get to that, the one thing that has popped up a couple of times is the fact that animal control licenses have a end-of-year deadline on there, so a way to give notice to animal control that looks after our things and licensing and put that up there that we're going to be closed over that time, because I know I've had people call me all in a panic.
So we could include in our notices
So-
to the public of our Christmas closure that anybody who's trying to get their animal licenses can get all those through the CRD and
That's right.
Bosseries and
Yeah,
all those.
just to point
So we
them in
can
there.
add something to our
Yep.
notice.
And we've even just stuck a notice on the door, so when they come up there and do one of those, the occasional person, they know where to go. It's good. Any other conversation, question, call the question? All those in favor then? Opposed? Motion carried. 7.1.3, report again, Director of Administration regarding Uptown Taxi Limited, application to Passenger Transportation Board for 8 new taxi licenses in the Capital Region, focused on handling groups from 5 to 7 passengers.
So this item is just brought before council because it's been our practice over the years to give council the opportunity to make comment to the Passenger Transportation Board. Their comment can be supportive or in opposition to anybody who's applying for taxi licenses that will be in our community. The only opportunity that you do have to comment is now when we get our municipal notice. There is no other opportunity. And they actually don't respond to our comments. Our comments are shared with the applicant. And if the city was interested in finding out whether they did or they didn't grant them, we would have to go on their website, and they have it, all the outcomes posted once the application process is finished. So council has the opportunity to take no action at all. You're not obliged to comment. Or in the past, council has sent a letter of support for the application and have added to that asking the Passenger Transportation Board to encourage owners of taxi services to provide services to people with disabilities and to use green vans. And they also encourage them to allow them to pick passengers up in any of the areas that they provide a service. And this particular taxi company wants to do all 13 municipalities in the capital region. And one of the reasons that we were talking about the picking passengers up in any areas, we understood, I think it was a year or two ago, that some of the taxis that were allowed to do drop-offs weren't allowed to pick passengers up where they've dropped passengers off. So we're just trying to encourage you can pick up and drop off anywhere you can provide a service. So it's up to council to decide if they even want to respond.
Anyone with comments? Councillor Day?
I just know that, through feedback that I've had from my ACTI and others, it is very much a long wait usually for any handicap accessible taxis. So this is a very welcome step forward with the possibility of having 2 more accessible vehicles. And so I would be in favor of Resolution 2.
Anyone else?
Then I would move Resolution 2. I thought I saw someone's hand up. So.
Yep.
Second.
No, nothing. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. And then moving on to 7.2, Transportation and Public Infrastructure Report regarding request for relaxation of noise bylaw for Ocean Grove residents. Does one of our council members Are you leading in on this one? Just before we get underway, that is the area of residency for one of our council members. Do they, I mean, it's not, there's a vote that has to happen here, so. Yes. No, there's nothing that I know of, just making aware that we're good. We're all coming, by the way.
Sorry, my computer's
Acting
up and I can't get the pages coming up. Yeah.
Sure, Councillor Trace can introduce it. I mean, she knows all about it.
Thank you.
This
Okay,
is-
I've got a paper copy here. So a special event application has been received from the folks who live at Ocean Grove. They wish to hold a social barbecue Saturday 4th, and they will be requiring a relaxation on the noise bylaw, as they want a live band to play between the hours of 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. And we've stated the regulations in the report. The organizer of the event has distributed flyers to the neighborhood, and we've listed all of the residents to which they've delivered flyers. We haven't verified that, but they have given us the list. And council's options are to either deny the request for a relaxation or approve the request. There are no financial considerations involved, and we've provided a recommendation for council's consideration, which would be council approve the request from the residents of Ocean Grove for a relaxation of sections C1 and C3 of the Colwood Noise Bylaw number 38, 1986, to allow the live band to play at the social gathering at 3226 Selleck Way Community Centre between the hours of 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. on Saturday, July 4th, 2015.
Councillor Martin.
Thank you. This is the first time I've ever sort of seen this in front of us, and there always seems to be weddings in the summer at Pacific Center, because I hear them every Friday and Saturday night. It seems like I'm hearing live bands and everything, but I've never seen one of these requests. Should they be doing that?
Well, if they're breaking the noise bylaw,
Well, I don't know what a noise bylaw is. Like if I can hear it, is that a breaking of it?
no, but
and they stop at 11. Like, it's never been a problem for us. It's just I've just never seen one of these applications before.
if you read C1 on first page of the report, it's a pretty general statement about noise, and in C3 it refers to the amplification of sound.
Okay. So is that a yes or a no that they should have probably applied for one?
They should, yeah.
So then maybe we could make a note of notifying Pacific Center if they're renting that out for weddings, that they should be asking for this?
If I could just add to that, and the city engineer can correct me if I'm wrong, the special event application process is basically or technically a volunteer process right now. There is no bylaw in place that's requiring it. We don't charge any fees, but what we have been asking people in the community is by working with the city and allowing us to work with them well in advance. There are no surprises and often no problems when they're having their event, because we've been able to look at all of the different kinds of implications there could be, including noise or fire issues or building structures like stages and stuff like that. So not everybody is aware of it. We could certainly ask them and provide them with the information, and others as we hear about them as well. But there's no bylaw that's requiring it at this point.
Well,
We just
if I can just embroider a bit on that point, there's no bylaw requiring a permit for an event, but there could be a complaint about noise, which would result in enforcement on the night. So if they get the relaxation, then they're protected against that happening. Thank you.
That's it. Sorry, that was...
Okay. Any others, though, just to make sure we're clear? Call the question. All those in favour then? Opposed? Motion carried. That's it for the regular body. We're moving into bylaws. 8.1, bylaw number 1574, first, second, and third readings on Colwood Main Sewer Local Area Service Bylaw Establishment and Loan Authorization Bylaw number 598, 2001 Amendment, number 28.
Move introduction, Your Worship.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Move second.
Comments, questions? Seeing none, call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Sorry, are we doing third? Move third.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Next one, 8.2, bylaw number 1575, first, second, and third again on Colwood West Sewer Local Area Service Bylaw Establishment and Loan Authorization Bylaw number 625. Move introduction. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Move second.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Move third.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. 8.3, bylaw number 1576, first, second, and third again on this one for Colwood Main Sewer Local Area Service Bylaw Establishment and Loan Authorization Bylaw number 598, 2001, Amendment 29.
Move introduction.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Second.
Second.
Any questions, comments? All those in question? Yep.
Are we on 8.3?
8.3.
Okay.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Move third.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. 8.4, bylaw number 1577, first, second, and third readings, Colwood Central Sewer Local Area Service Establishment and Loan Authorization Bylaw number 480, 1999, Amendment number 4.
Move introduction.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Move second.
Second.
Any questions, comments? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Move third.
Second, third.
Ah, you got
Give it a little hot. Yeah.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Motion, please, to moving camera. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.